Hello! Delayed and millions over budget. You may not believe it, but I'm talking once again about NASA's Artemis program. This time around, NASA's Inspector General decided to dig into the issues behind the future mobile launch tower named ML2 that will be needed to launch a future upgraded version of the SLS rocket for the Artemis 4 mission and onward later this decade. It is designed to be a very similar version of the ML1 tower, which is going to be used for the first 3 Artemis missions, but it will also feature some new additions such as a vehicle damper system as well as an upper stage umbilical. It will also be 6 feet taller and 10 feet wider. Now, NASA awarded a cost-plus contract for this mobile launcher to the engineering company Bechtel 3 years ago, but it turns out that the project is plagued with issues. For one, the tower is expected to be too heavy for the massive crawler to carry it to the launch pad. It's also running 3 years behind schedule, and the new cost estimate for the project is $960 million, which is around 2.5 times more expensive than the supposed $383 million that it was originally going to cost. The report signed by NASA's Inspector General finds that Bechtel underestimated the project's scope and complexity and blames the contractor's poor performance as the main reason for the cost increases. Nonetheless, NASA didn't escape criticism either, since, as the report found, the contract was awarded to Bechtel before finalizing the specifications for the modified SLS rocket's upper stage, which is going to be a more powerful version than the one used in the first 3 Artemis missions. NASA's explanation for this decision is that they had to move forward with the tower's design and construction in order to meet a timeline for its lunar missions. More specifically, they wanted the new tower to be ready in 2026, which is when Artemis 4 should occur, but now we know that this will most likely not be the case, because even though it is plausible that SpaceX will have Starship HLS ready in 2025, the companies tasked with developing the future lunar EVAs for the Artemis 3 mission recently announced that they hoped to test the new spacesuits sometime in 2025, at the earliest, so realistically Artemis 4 probably won't happen until later into the second half of this decade. And I am assuming that there won't be any further delays with Artemis 1 or Artemis 2 and 3, which would be a rather pleasant surprise if that were to be the case. Moreover, NASA anticipates even greater cost increases due to potential additional changes to the modified second stage, plus any technical challenges that arise once the construction of the tower begins. But nonetheless, NASA seems to be in a hurry. It has even removed some of the work from Bechtel's plate without reducing its payment. This happened earlier this year when Bechtel and NASA decided to leave the development of the umbilicals out of the contract so that Bechtel could solely focus on the core project and instead look for a different contractor to deal with this umbilical. Maybe SpaceX could step in and help them out, since as Scott Manley suggested in his Twitter account, they seem to have a lot of experience building tall structures from scratch. Furthermore, NASA has also tried to change the existing contract from cost plus to a fixed price one, so that any financial risks are assumed by the private contractor instead of the government, which could evoke resentment within Congress. But so far there hasn't been any agreement on that front. I also want to point out the fact that NASA has been seeking to move away from cost-plus contracts, even going as far as to deem such contracts a plague, since they are a constant money drain, and instead move toward fixed price contracts with which they have had great successes thus far, most notably SpaceX's Dragon capsules, which have allowed NASA to launch American astronauts from American soil for the first time since the shuttle program was finished. I made a video about this topic a few weeks ago. In case you want to check it out, I will put the link in the description box down below. So to sum up, yet another blow to the Artemis program, with yet another cost-plus contract involved. The good thing about this is that as long as NASA is able to pull off the first 3 Artemis missions, if the 4th one ends up being too expensive, we'd still have Starship to take over and make things easier. And I don't want to come across as only pro SpaceX and against everything else. But I mean, it's more than obvious who is putting in most of the effort and really pushing with all they have toward a new age in the space industry. And I can only hope that the other companies follow suit so that we are able to expand the scope of human craftsmanship and ingenuity. And with that, I finished this video. I hope you liked it and found it interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you all again very soon. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.